You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show found on the Powerhouse radio station can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Yeah. You listen to the sounds of DJ Fourth Quarter in your ear right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, that's right, baby.
Driving home and you feeling kinda tired. Radio play the same thing every day. So you need a little switch when you live. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday, 7 and 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype. But one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride to on the go. Or you might be home for long gone. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Let's gripe. 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 Let's gripe.
Good evening, everyone. Howdy. I felt like putting on my little cowboy hat tonight. Hey, Mckenna.
Hello, everybody. I see you with your cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Where are we going to start? Okay, so we was MIF for a couple of weeks. But listen, first of all, I put my cowboy hat on. But if I had me a Knicks jersey, I would be repping that right now. How about them Knicks?
How about the Knicks? How about those Knicks? I mean, people were fanatic cheering them on. Of course, love for the Spurs as well, but New York and that Northeast region, they had absolutely a good reason to celebrate. So kudos to the Knicks, to all the fans who hung in there with them all these years. And we look forward to another interesting NBA season next year. But in the meantime, just enjoy the W. Just enjoy it.
Listen, I have not been into basketball like that. Every year, you get it when it gets down to the finals, it's like, okay, you pick what team you're gonna go for.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember really, really being into the basketball is from my high school days, and also being from Jersey and the Knicks playing, Patrick Ewing being a Jamaican. And it's like, yeah, so I can honestly say, really sitting, watching the Knicks game and knowing the players, I haven't done that since in the 90s.
Yes.
So, of course, I gotten it towards the end, but it was just so amazing to see how no matter what, how they haven't won a championship in 53 years and seeing how their fan base is still off the chain. So that's what I love about the sports in general, all the sports, football, basketball. I think I'm flipped up to the side. I don't know why. But what I love mostly about sport fans is that you guys are really loyal to y'all team.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that.
And it's interesting that you say that about fans, because no matter if they're winning or losing, they really support the team. And And I really wish that we were fans of America like that. I really wish we supported each other a little bit more and had some of that camaraderie that sports do. Maybe we have the division that sports teams have, but the love that people show, just the creativity with the different jerseys and the different accessories and just the orange and blue, the way people showed up outside to watch the game and the way um, the city responded by cascading the game, off the buildings and using the public teleprompts to show the game so people could have their own New York version of a viewing party outside. I think it just celebrates what we can do when we come together and we support a common cause. And so it was just really cool to watch that. And I agree with you as it relates to just being a fan of the game. Back in the 90s, back with the Patrick Ewings and the Charles Barkleys and some of the players from the late 90s that we grew up to love. The game, of course, has changed since then. They play a little different style. And watching some of the sports, and I'm like, that back in the 90s would have been a travel. I don't understand some of these new rules. I was looking at flagrant 1, flagrant 2, and something, something. So some of the rules have also changed, but just seeing people have a love for the sport and bringing people together, I think was a good start to the summer because, now as we move out of basketball season, of course, we're in baseball season and we have the World Cup. So now we're on this world stage of sports fans rallying around the world to support their teams. And so it's just a good vibe at this time.
Yes, you said it perfectly. If we could just be united when it comes to other things, it would be perfect. But I love it. There are some new players, and then you have some of the veterans. So it was just good to see how sports does unite people. The Knicks, and then when you're hearing stories, I don't mean to be a little. Yes, I should be a little excited to know that a majority of these players, they have like a Jamaican background. They're from either their grandparents or one of their parents. Even on the Spears team, there was two of them, I think, Jamaican heritage. So it feels good to be like, okay, we're not just about the tracks and field, we're doing some other things. So it's just a lot to celebrate with our heritage and also just reunite it. Like you said, again, over and over. We could say this all day long if we could just reunite other places. But of course, one of my gripe, honey, because we can't move on without the gripe. Guess what one of my gripe is?
What's your gripe, man? What is it?
Why is the Obamas living in people's head rent free?
Listen.
The presidency and the first lady role has been over how long ago? Why are we still talking about our presidents? Why?
They just can't get our name out their mouth, huh? This man hasn't been president in over 10 years. What are we talking about? Him and his wife. And didn't we learn about what could happen when you talk about somebody's wife? We didn't have that class already. Listen.
I just wish for once that our President Obama come to the front for us and do, well, he don't have to do what Will Smith do. He don't have to smack nobody. But he could just tell somebody to leave his wife's name out of their mouth. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Can we?
I think we do it for him. I think that he knows that we are here to say what he's not going to say out loud just because of who he is. But we're here for it. We're here for all of that. So
I want him to do it. I would love, because he got shade. He could throw some shades too. I need him to start throwing shades. I need him to tell people to keep his beautiful wife name out their mouth. And if he says it with some explicit words towards it, we gonna love it too. I think what I think is the first lady who's holding him back, because I think he been wanting to do it. I think she's like, honey, when they go low, we go high, and he like, no, they keep going low. I'm gonna go. Like Cardi B said, I'm gonna go to hell. I could just see him and the first lady right now. He wanted. Because I think he would go hard for his wife now. I'm serious.
But I did read, and I don't know if it's true or not, because there's so much information and misinformation. But I did hear or read rather that um, she was going to file some kind of lawsuit against him. We won't name him, and his winnings. Put like freeze his assets, any money that he won over the particular career. That she's going to subpoena to have that money frozen. And I was like, hit people in the pocket speaks very loud. So if it's true, um, with her, well, both of them are lawyers. I mean, two educated people in a marriage that both have law degrees and probably looking at it like, how should we handle this? What you want to do? Well, what you want to do? You want to just file some paperwork? Can I cuss them out? No, let's just file the paperwork. Okay, I'll just file some paperwork. I mean, it must be a very playful, interesting type of conversation that they have when these things happen. And I'm sure they've dealt with it for, 10, 15, 20 years, but it's still annoying that in 2026 we still have to deal with ignorance on stage, front and center, hate, um, and just things that just shouldn't be said in public. Our parents and our grandparents had a way of telling us, keep your private thoughts private. You don't speak everything you think. So if that's what he was thinking, that wasn't the time or the place to announce it. But he had his 15 minutes of fame, and I hope it's worth it, because at the end of the day, I'm sure there'll be some repercussions. Even if they come around the curve slowly, they are going to catch up with him.
It's so annoying and it's so disappointing that you remember, we know a lot of those people, because we're going to call them those.
Okay.
We know a lot of those people always start certain things about the minority, people of color. We already know that. But they couldn't say it out loud. But because the environment and the administration that we have in office allows them to say it, and it's so disrespectful. It's like they don't respect anyone. We know that they don't respect themselves, because if they did, they wouldn't say certain things. But they're just to see every day is something. These people have went on about their business, writing books, doing whatever they doing, loving on each other, supporting their two beautiful daughters, but you're still talking about them.
Yeah. Because it's difficult to talk about people who don't have anything that is staining their repetition. They're not a felony. The husband is not a baby mama. They haven't filed for bankruptcy. They haven't been convicted. They haven't been accused of certain things that they've been convicted of. And so you just have to find ways to tear people down when you're dissatisfied with yourself in the mirror. And this is what it looks like sometimes. This is how it manifests itself. Y'all hate us so much. Well, leave us alone. If you hate us so much, go away. Go play in your own traffic, in your own chaos that you've created. Have fun at in your own backyard, and leave us alone. We're not thinking about you the way you're thinking about us. Trust and believe, we are not thinking about you the way you're thinking about us at all, ever. At most, we're just trying to figure out how to make $1 out of 15 cents, how to feed our children, how to go on vacation, how to pay our bills, how to stay healthy, and stay out of this congested life. Um, and try not to pay too much attention to what's deteriorating the country. And maybe even, on a good day, we're thinking about, how can we make this world just a little bit better place? How can I contribute in some shape, form, or fashion, even if it's just a little bit? But we're not thinking about y'all.
I think what it is, they are really jealous of the Obamas. They're very intelligent. They have law degrees. They were first lady and president. They are so respected around the world. I think it's just jealousy. And like I said, they're not broke. They're not filing for bankruptcy. He is not a baby daddy. He doesn't have scandals on his name. So I think really and truly that's one of the things that they are hating on. But leave them alone. Leave them alone. They're too disrespectful.
Yeah, go sit down somewhere.
Maria, thank you. Howdy. I decided to do the cowboy theme today. So
Yeah.
those are that is definitely one of the gripes that I have. It's just it's so sickening. So sickening. I just I can't stand it, not one bit. And it's just making it worse because people now are just doing it constantly. You see road rages, and that's what they're doing. They're calling people names. They're saying so many things. I saw one, and I think it was a black young lady. She's on a page of that someone I knew, and
Hmm.
I had to remove that page because I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble. But she was like, yes, she is a she's not she's a man, and they're trying to force that agenda on us. A black woman out
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
But we know that you're going to backpedal just
Hmm.
like Candace Owen did.
You see, she's backpedaled just a little bit.
Yeah, she's backpedal. And
Hmm.
people's like, listen, we don't forget you. We know who you are.
Hmm. Hmm. Sometimes you have to learn through what they call it bought experience. You got to buy your own experience and learn from it. And I think that, there are some things that she still fundamentally believes and hold truths to that may differ from some of my opinions and beliefs. But I think that the more the more a person shows you who they are, the less you can deny who they are. And so I
Mm.
think that she hung in there, and this person keeps showing us who they are. And so maybe she has distanced herself from that particular person, um, but still has some of her own beliefs
On her
that might,
own beliefs, yes.
and that's fine. Um, I would like for her to continue her platform because there might be some things that she says that we can learn from. I don't listen to her enough to know, but it could be.
Right.
It could be.
Right. Hi, Madonna. Hey guys, while you're there chatting, go on and like and subscribe. Go on and share this to everyone else or whatever, your friends and your family. Go on in that chat and go on and tell us what you want us to talk about, what we missed. Because I know Madonna, she's one of the Nick's greatest fan. I mean, coming over to visiting, and every other day she got on some Nick's. I think she might be going to the parade tomorrow too.
Oh, is
I
that
might.
tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow. They said Thursday. Was it
Oh,
Thursday or Wednesday? Madonna, chat. Let me see. Is it today? Are you in New York today or is it tomorrow? But I again, so that's my gripe about the Obamas. Um, this what is it? Next Sunday we have the BET Awards. What's his name? Dursky. He's
mhm.
gonna be the host.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready to see him because you know who he is, right?
Yes, I do.
I
Hmm.
love his skits. He is knocking these skits dead on. There's no one exempt from his skits.
Listen, he created a lane for himself, and he's been in his lane doing what he's been doing. And, kudos to him for being selected to be the host of these BET Awards. Without a doubt, he's going to throw some shade in there, and it's going to be hilarious. And we're going to be laughing all the way. So I look forward to either watching it live or catching some of the recaps. But yeah, Drewski, I like Drewski. I really do. Hmm.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it because he is hilarious, and I'm just seeing what he's gonna come with. But also what in the latest news now. So I'm going to the Jamaica topic. So Madonna says got my nails done in the New York Knicks colors.
Oh,
Please believe her, okay?
okay.
Believe her, okay? I'm just saying. Um, they what? Let's before we get off of that Knicks. So one of the players, Hart, he has his wife and two children. Of course, his wife is a natural black young lady, and since they won the finals, the championship, everyone like the photo has went viral, and a
Uh-oh.
lot of people is saying, "Wow, it's like he chose a queen, a black queen, as his wife, and of course with their children." So they're naturally 100% black. So everyone was. What do you think about that? Do you think that's something that is missing when it comes to celebrity, not only just of athletes, but celebrities in general? Do you think we? I know we always praise LL Cool J and his wife, Snoop and his wife, Denzel and his wife. There's another one.
LeBron and
Uh,
his wife.
and yes, Levon and Samuel Jackson and his wife. There's a
Yes.
list go on, so it's not a handful. The list goes on. Well, what do you think of that? That's
I think that it's a good reminder that it's okay to love Black women in our form. And we come in different varieties and different shades. And Black women are from different places, whether it's different states or different islands. The diaspora is wide. I also think that some of these athletes in college, when they go to college, they are surrounded by the cheerleaders who that's their only connection. The cheerleaders are there and they have this team. And I think we've talked about it before, but there's this team of women, young ladies on these universities that their whole job is to cater to the athletes. And so, that becomes your pool of people that you choose from, and it's by design. And so, unless you've created a bond with someone before that pool becomes so narrow, or you are strong enough in your mind to see through what this is, and still become attracted to maybe somebody who looks more like your mother, then a lot of our athletes end up with people who they might not have ended up with had they not been in that pool, so to speak. So I think it's a good reminder of what Black love looks like. And I think that we might need to see more of it, and praise more of it. And maybe there is more of it. We just don't get to see that. Maybe the news or the media only spotlights the athletes who have the very beige wife or the very white wife. And they don't highlight, the man or the young man or the athlete who has just a natural, beautiful wife who happens to have Black skin and he's proud of that. So we as a community could do a better job of just highlighting that, paying attention to it, and celebrating it, and not only leaning to what we see in the media, but also when we do see it in the media, clap it up, like applaud it, make it normal again, make that thing normal so that other people will be like, oh, okay, looking at their decisions and be like, oh, who can love you better than a Black woman? Black man, who can love you better than a Black woman? But that's just my bias.
bias, right? Exactly. So the very tall one that's on the spirit, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I think
Mhm,
everyone know he's what 7'2",
mhm.
from I forget what country he came from. But I was hearing reports that he actually said that he would not date um a Black woman because they mouth.
Mm.
Good evening, Elaine. Also, Madonna, I see that. That's all right. Just go on and get a 4K 75-inch TV. You can watch a parade. You'll think you're there. You'll feel like you're right there in that present, okay? But yes, he was saying that he wouldn't because we're feisty.
Mm.
I wonder who told him that.
The media. Every time you watch the Housewives and all the TV shows, this is how we're being portrayed, right? We're
Yeah.
being portrayed as loud and rowdy and boisterous and disrespectful women, who cuss each other out in public, who cheat on each other, boy, husbands with the best friend's boyfriend, who tell
Mm.
our business and put our business in the streets. This is what we're
Mm.
projecting out here in these media. And
Mm.
then our young women follow that in public, so the softer, more gentle, more pragmatic, more refined, more intelligent woman who is not replicating what that looks like on TV, she gets overlooked because there's so much stereotype out there, um, that maybe the Black man doesn't want to be bothered with her because of what their experience has been or what they've seen on TV. So does it mean that we need to change? Maybe it does mean we need to work on our communication and how we communicate out loud and how we carry ourselves. Maybe it means we go back to a soft spoke, a private moment when I check you in private but not in public, where I stand by you in public and I check you in private. Maybe we need to go back to, a skirt that might be closer to our knee and less close to our kitty cat. So it's a good conversation to have. I mean, I know we're going to all have our individual preferences, but is there room to reintroduce tradition, to reintroduce modesty, to reintroduce a softer, gentler version of ourselves? Maybe there's room for that. What do the men say? I wish the men were here to chime in.
I know either Dr. Ross or MG. So I've heard the other day, a friend of mine said, "You need to listen to me." And as a, 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 a woman of color and being from the island, that kind of seems like you're trying to control me or rule me, put it that way, which I kind of know it's not. But in the form that it was said, it was more like, to me, it's because I'm telling you what transpired or what needed to be done. But then at the same time, you're telling me something, I need to listen. I don't feel that saying that was for that particular conversation. But in my deep soul and heart, I believe that men just want to do all the talking, and for the women to be like, okay, okay. Or sometimes when I get like, okay, whatever, you kind of get quiet. I believe in being submissive, not only that time, but in general, letting a man lead. I do 100% believe in that. But I also believe that if there's a conversation, that we should be able to agree and disagree, to disagree. And we can have that conversation. No disrespect, no going back and forth as in a disrespectful way. But, well, this is what I took that you said. This is what I think should have done. This should have happened. We should be able to have a conversation where you might don't agree with me and I don't agree with you. I think I'm right. You think you're right. But I don't think it falls into you need to listen.
So, did you need to listen? Because sometimes men don't feel heard because women, we have a way of talking and putting our words together real fast and being quick with the wit. They don't necessarily some men are good at that, but not all men. And so maybe in the moment you just needed to listen, to give him the space to know that he had your full attention in the moment and you were as equally open to hearing his point of view before you came back with your point of view. So, did you need to listen in that moment? Was that a moment where you could have just said, let me step back and let me listen? Maybe I'm not hearing what you're saying. Maybe you haven't put all your thoughts and your words together in a way that I could understand. So maybe I just need to give you a little bit more time to hit me with what you're trying to convey in this moment. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm asking, did you need to listen? Was there space for you to listen to what his point of view, whether you agree with it or not? If somebody's asking you to listen, male or female, maybe in the moment, the best thing we can do is say, you know what? Let me listen. Let me just listen. And not listen with, I'm not listening. Listen with, I'm really trying to understand what you're saying, because the first time you said it, I disagreed and I didn't get it. But this time, I'm really listening with the intent to understand it from your point of view. Not agree with it from your point of view, but just listen long enough to say, okay, now say that one more time. Okay, hold up. Go back to that part. Okay, I'm following you so far. You lost me right here. Like, really listen. And maybe that's what we need to work on. Talking to myself, of course.
My friends usually say when I'm quiet,
Mm-hmm.
that means that there was some truth or some nerves that was hit.
Okay.
I thought I listened. I thought I was listening. And that's where I think a lot of us, there's some misunderstanding when it comes to Black women and women of different nationality. I think that's our problem.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're misunderstood.
I think that's where we could do some work. You know, it's not even about being misunderstood. It's about doing the work in that place, because it's not, if the goal is not necessarily to be right, the goal is to be understood. You know, so in the moment, maybe I'm not trying to be right. Maybe I'm just trying to be understood. You know, and maybe I don't feel like you're understanding me either. And so if I say listen, and you say, "Well, I was listening," then I don't feel respected in that moment. I don't feel like I can really explain my point of view, because you're actually, your body language, your response, and I'm not making this personal, I'm just talking to myself, it is not fostering what listening looks like. Listening should look like, you have my full attention. Let me turn the radio down. Let me put my phone flip. Let me cuddle up next to you if we're that kind of relationship, or let me just square up with you if we're in that kind of relationship. Let me get comfortable in my chair so that I can give you my full attention, so that I can listen. And then when I'm finished listening, I let you know that I appreciate you taking the time to go back over that with me. And we don't really even necessarily have to continue. We're just agreeing that what you needed from me in the moment was just for me to listen. That's what you needed from me. And I lowered my guard long enough to listen. And now you know going forward that you can talk more and be more open and be more honest. And this isn't a perfect communication style, because I know that Tonia will listen. Even if I'm dead wrong, I know she'll sit there and she'll listen. Sometimes people don't get heard in other spaces. You don't necessarily get to listen at work, because, you know, people constantly telling you what to do. So sometimes people just need to be heard. And I think we all can recall a time when we were arguing our point and all we wanted to do is feel heard. Think about being a teenager. We just wanted to be heard and we wanted to argue. You can't really argue with your mom or your grandma because they didn't have that. So where do you go into a space where you actually get to talk and actually feel heard, versus feeling like somebody else is trying to prove their point? We're all trying to prove our point, but let's just listen. Let's just be heard.
Ouch. See, I listen to, and I do take accountability all the time. So I believe that's where majority of women need
Mm-hmm.
to fall in that category as far as listening. I listen. I listen 90% of the time.
And it's a skill set. You know, communication, we've talked about this on Let's Gripe before. Communication takes practice, and we have to develop different parts of the communication skill. And one of the skills is actually, and they call it active listening. You know, like if you're working in customer service and the customer is talking, you're actively listening to the things that they're saying. Some of the things you don't need to hear, like they're completely not relevant to the purpose of the call, but you're still listening to get to, what is this person actually trying to say? They went down
Right.
the street, around the corner, up the hill, to the light, turn left. I'm still trying to figure out where we're going. And
Right.
finally, at that third stop sign, they told you exactly what they needed. And you're like, ah, okay, I can help you with that. Now I understand. But it took all of that listening to get to that point. And if we had to stop them too soon, we would have been in the wrong spot. And so, you know, when we work in, you know, hypothetically customer service, we do all that listening because we want to know how we can help you.
How we can help you,
We're
yes.
listening to understand how I can help you. And so that same skill that we have, we just have to transfer it and apply it in our personal life. I'm really listening. I want to go on this journey with you. And I know you might take me the long route and say some things that aren't really relevant, but I'm going to hang in there with you long enough for you to get to that spot where we either agree or disagree, or at least I understand what you actually meant, not what you said, because, we don't always say exactly what we mean, but actually, what happened. And when you hang in there with somebody along that journey long enough, then they tend to do more of it and you get to know them a little bit better. And then, if there are things that need to be corrected or changed, or maybe just understood, okay, this is just how this person is. And I've listened long enough to know that that's just where they are with that. So I'm not even going to use my energy to try to change them. It just creates a better dialogue going forward. And yeah, it takes a lot of practice. So yeah, maybe we all could learn to listen a little bit more. Talking to myself, y'all, just speaking to myself.
I mean, yes, and I'm taking it in too because I think, yeah, I'm still growing, still learning every day. Because that's what we do because we're human beings. So the is he a rapper?
Who?
Mystical?
Mystical.
He's a
Watch yourself.
He was indicted by the grand jury.
He sure was.
In
Mm,
and what is it? A rape case?
20 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 20.
Oh, he was sentenced. 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he had. I'm still trying to get this. Like, the way folks out here giving it up. Oh, that one person who didn't want to give it up, so you had to take it. Is that what we talking about? Oh, okay. Because I just be saying folks be.
But the thing about it is, at 50 or 55, to me, this isn't new behavior. This is behavior that was never corrected along the way. So when I say along the way, I mean like, okay, so you're a young man, 15, 16. You're not really sure if she said yes or no, and you kind of pressure her. That's kind of how you move. But then maybe in your 20s, somebody slaps you upside the head and say, listen, no means no, and stop. And somewhere in your mind, you're like, okay, if this person says no, I need to move on. And I think, my opinion, that some men don't mature to the space where they respect women. This is still about the respect women enough to say, fine, let me just move on. Because there's too many other people who will just give it to you for
Because
free.
one of our listener texts and she was like, well, wasn't he in jail before for rape?
Was he? I think he had some charges back in 2004. Yep.
Oh.
And he spent 6 years in prison. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For real?
Oh
And
yeah.
then he
And
come back
then,
and do the same thing in 2022?
oh no. In 2012. First in 2012 and then in 2022. So okay. So yeah,
It's crazy.
this is that behavior that didn't get changed. Wow.
Listen, I'm all over the place because these are just popping up as we talking.
I know.
So I know they were saying that the New York Knicks, they were supposed to be declining the invitation to the White House.
Okay. Did they change
But
your
now
mind?
they're saying they have accepted the invitation from the White House for their championship. That's what it's saying. Is it true though?
So I wonder, because isn't the owner, I can't remember what they said. Was it the
I was
owner?
hearing that he was a big donor for his campaign.
Okay, so if the owner says you will go, he's the master of the association. So it's possible that the master said, y'all better go if you want to be on this Knicks here plantation and continue. I feel like if they do go, there's always a way to get your point across. So whether you wear your Juneteenth T-shirt or what I'm saying, like there's a way there. If you go in there with your Obama T-shirt on, there's a way.
I'm saying
There's just a way to be. There's a term for it, I can't remember. Like some kind of compliance, but where you're not really compliant, but you're pretending to be compliant. There's a way to do that. Like if I have to be here, we could be like crisscross and wear our jeans backwards and our t-shirts inside out or something. Like there's a way. There's a way for the rest of us to understand that you're not here voluntarily.
Or get a necklace, a pendant with the Obamas in it.
Something real subtle. Something real subtle.
There was this I guess Chinese Japanese man on TikTok. He said yes, because when Mr. Chow was found not guilty for unaliving that 14-year-old in North Carolina, he was found not guilty, running after him, shooting him in the back, killing him. So everyone was calling for a boycott, of that particular establishment, but I'm not sure if it's still there. But they were just saying in general. So he gets up on TikTok. He was like, yeah, y'all should. All right, y'all want to boycott us? Okay. So what y'all gonna do with the phone? Y'all gonna boycott the phone?
Well,
the TV?
Well,
y'all gonna boycott the weaves and the wigs?
Well,
he just went on a list of stuff that we know for sure that was not made in here, and then knowing that I'm gonna go get me some more of these soon to redo my hair. Oh yeah, just boycott the nail salon too. Oh, and I gotta get my hair nails done.
But I think, and even though I think it made a good point though, there's a lot of businesses that other ethnicities and minorities were able to thrive and flourish with. And so maybe the message isn't boycott, but maybe the message is be a little bit more intentional. They say if it wasn't made in America, it was made in China. Okay, that's a good point. But are there opportunities for us to support each other in Black businesses or other minority businesses that we feel support us? So again, it's not going to be this broad movement because we need to still use things on Amazon. We're still going to go to the beauty supply store. But maybe today I buy my body butter from the lady, down the street who's making body butter instead of going to Walmart and buying lotion. There are little small things that we can do to support our community. So I think if we refrain from automatically just spending in this direction and find one or two things that we can do to support, maybe somebody's making shea butter, maybe somebody's making those hats that you have on, maybe somebody is, making t-shirts. Maybe we can find a way to just support each other a little bit at a time. And so does it shut it down? No, but what it does is it circulates our money back to us. Like instead of just giving it to Walmart or giving it to the beauty supply, maybe there's somebody out there that's making a hair care product, and we go to the Atlanta, we always have hair shows. There's always a hair show somewhere. We can go to the hair show and find one or two people that are making a product that we enjoy and say, you know what, I'm still gonna get my hair done sometimes, but in the meantime, I might use this person's shampoo or this person's curly putty gel, or this person's shea butter, or this person's body butter, or this person's essential oil. So I think we get distracted in the big stroke of the picture, and we just find little ways that we can pour back into our community quietly.
But,
the food trucks.
But let's be honest though.
Mm-hmm.
When we go to our Black people, the price be like double.
Think about why. So if you are we're just going to say Chinaman, and not to be like super disrespectful, but if you are on the Asian hookup, you didn't just start on this Asian hookup. So you already have a full distribution center where you can get your products at distribution level prices all the way from the shipping container all the way to your doorstep. And you've built that network over 70 years, because we're in 2026. So we're going back 20 years, 25 years to 2020, plus 50 more years to 1950. We're going back 75 years. You've already built that. Me as an independent person, I got to do my research and see who I can get this material from and this material from, and then put it together and then sell it to you and try to make $2 off the bottle that I sold you.
You're
So
right. You
it's
made a
supply
point.
and demand. It's not,
You're
it's not greed. It's just sustainability. Like it's costing me this amount of money just to make, okay, let's say I was making Yeti cups. I got to get all this product shipped to me, put my little label and stuff on it, and it's taking me extra money to get there just to make $2 off of that cup.
yep,
So it's
yep.
not just that they want to charge more, it's that they have to charge more because they're not going to sell it to me the same price that they're going to sell it to Mr. Wynn and Miss Kim Lee. They're going to get their product cheaper. Think
Yep.
about think about the history of like just loans. So I was reading an article about Johnson, who had the magazine, the Ebony magazine, and how no bank would loan him money, and
Mm,
he ended up having his mom or grandmother or somebody sell all their furniture and loan him $500 to start his magazine. So we have to think about things in context. We're very quick to say, well, it's so high. Okay, think about rent space. They know that you want to be a black salon owner. The owner of the building is going to charge you maybe more just because it's you. And if it was them, they would charge them less. So there's a lot of things that we forget when you talk about supply, demand, economics, products, services before it even gets to us. So I wouldn't say that it might be higher, but let's think about why it's just a little bit more expensive and the different even something like licensing, trying to get your application, application fee. You got to pay your application fee. It comes back denied because for no reason. So now you got to put another application fee to get your permit. So now you have to spend another $250 to get that permit so that you can have your food truck down here at the Juneteenth festival. So you spent $500 just trying to get your permit together. And now I was going to sell it for $10, but now it's $15, just so that I can make my money back off the
just
permit.
because, right. Okay.
So we got to think about that too.
And I think that's what a lot of people think. So by you explaining it, even our listeners who thought the same way I did was like, yes, I would love to support them, but I am paying more when I can get it less. And of course, the economy doesn't help it right now. Everything is going up, but the pay is still where it's at. So I think a lot of times we look at that part just of it being more and not understanding, well, this is being made here and the connections, like you said. So hopefully I got it, and hopefully our listeners could like, okay, it rings a bell to make us realize, so that extra couple of dollars that we will spend, we'll know that we're supporting our own, because really and truly we can do it. We can really, if like, especially the black people, because I mean, it's a lot of us, because we spend more than the average rich folks.
Mm-hmm. We
You
spend money
know,
on we spend money on what we want to spend money on. We really do. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, we do. Hmm.
So
So,
I with that, but he made a lot of sense because he just was going through everything.
hmm
Yeah, and that slow cooker that you're using, yeah, yeah, don't use it. If he he was definitely being very sarcastic, but at the same time he was making sense. So with that being said, we just go boycott in silence. So Madonna says James Dunn is a personal friend of President Trump and accepted the invitation.
okay.
Yep, there you
Yep.
go. That's what
There it is.
Mckenna say. Yep,
Yep. So
yep.
the players will, march on over there. But again, there's a way to do a silent little protest. There's a way. There's a way.
There's
You know,
also wait for real. Go on and visit the Obamas first. Go to the museum face and take some pictures up in the library. Boom.
yes.
That would kill them. Go
That
on
would
and
be
get
the
dressed and go over there.
get
And
dressed,
go to the
get all
library.
dressed
Take
up
some pictures
nice.
with the
Yeah.
real and the real president and the statue. How about that?
Yeah. Now that would be a good move. Everybody dress up nice, go over there. We didn't even talk about like um, the visiting countries when they stepped off the plane. Some of those men looked super sharp. For
Oh
that
yes,
was
for
yeah.
the for FIFA,
Yes. Yeah.
honey.
I was like, this is what fashion looks like.
And
This
I'm
is
telling
fashion.
you, I'm
This is
telling
fashion.
you.
And I bet you in 5 minutes, all of the fashion that we see will be stolen, and then it'll be out there in Paris and in Milan and on the New York, what's that New York fashion show they have every year?
Yes, the runway.
Yeah. Some designer will act
Yeah,
like they
fashion
created it.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some designer will act like they created it and will be like, "Yeah, I've been over there in Africa copying folks. You've been over here copying people." Okay,
I, I'm just saying. But
okay.
listen, what I
Mm-hmm.
love about it when it was actually Madonna's daughter, she educated us on certain things.
Okay.
So with the FIFA Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
they don't they don't do brands.
Okay.
Okay, so you walk up in there and talk about, oh, I got on Gucci, or they don't do brands. So what that means is
Okay.
they had, they played at the Mercedes Benz
Mm-hmm.
Stadium. Well, of course, that's a brand. How about
Ah,
for when they came to Atlanta, it was an Atlanta Stadium.
okay.
They couldn't use, and they had to cover the logo and everything on the stadium. And I remember one of the news force, the news broadcaster, he said last, he was like, such and such and such, and he was like, they're playing Monday, January 15th at the Mercedes Stadium. And same time, I don't know, maybe the producers back then, he was like, oh, the Atlanta Stadium. And I even saw where one of the players,
Uh-huh.
I don't remember which team it was, but one of the players had on a Beats phone.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
How about he had to take that word Beats up?
Mm,
I was like, oh, they serious for real.
they are serious for real. They're not playing with
They
it.
was like, you could use whatever you want, but let's it got to be no brand. We can't see no name. But yes, he had to cover it up.
So
So
what
all you saw, so you could not see the name or
they
the
said
logo of it.
they said what you're not going to do is get free advertisement on our dime. So if you want to support these players, you sponsor them. But what you won't do is put your name out here in public for everybody to
Yes,
see.
yes, and
So
we
yeah,
don't support brands. We don't do brands. I love that.
I
I love that for
did.
them
I did.
because in America, you know what it's all about: brands, brands, brands. So to see there is a foundation, an organization that is not surrounded by brands, I love it. And to be even seeing that is being taught here, so our younger generation can get to know it's not all about brands. And
Mhm.
that goes from having an iPhone versus an Android, or you know driving a Mercedes versus a Toyota. So I love that. That was something that impressed me a lot. But I got before we go, honey, all of my Jamaican listeners, but even so with all of our listeners, if you love beef patty, I know for years you've been eating beef patty from different Jamaican restaurants, even the ones in the freezer, at the dollar store, and even at BJ's or Sam's. We got the authentic. We're not advertising them, but I'm just saying, Google it. Because I'm not gonna say it, they don't get free advertisement. But if you want some authentic Jamaican patty, it's downtown in Atlanta, not too far from the Atlanta Stadium, which is the Mercedes Stadium. Mercedes Benz, the authentic Jamaican patty has arrived in Atlanta, Georgia. And when I tell you the line was wrapped around the store, and yes, I was in it because I went with a friend too. I was
So
like, yeah,
is it a new establishment or a new business?
it was franchised from Jamaica,
Okay.
so you can Google that. But once you taste that beef patty, I don't think you're gonna buy it from anywhere else because this is made in Jamaica. It's a different. You can tell the difference. But when I tell you, at first when I heard they was gonna go downtown to Atlanta, like where it was, I'm like, that's kind of like that's where they're doing they're gentrifying that area.
Okay.
And I was like, why there? They don't know nothing about Jamaican, as we say, patty. I was like, why are they going there? It's like they're not gonna do good there. I'm like, And I was so amazed when I went.
Wow.
The line was wrapped around the building.
Wow.
So again, they're making their moves. I love it, the franchising of it, because I remember when we had family members go to Jamaica. When I go, we're like, "Can you bring up some beef patty? Can you bring up some beef patty?" Now we don't have to do that. So that's one thing we don't have to put in the suitcase anymore, because they
Oh,
sell it frozen too
they saw
in
it
Jamaica.
frozen? Okay.
So we don't have to worry about the frozen. We could go get the fresh one right now, and then we could freeze it ourselves. So it's amazing to see how the how what's the word I'm looking for? It's on my tongue, but I'll find another word. How our culture is being accepted around the world, I want to say, and
Mhm.
how, you know, different nationalities love it.
Mhm.
Just like I love me some macaroni and cheese and some wings. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. And that's a good example of how we support our businesses in our community, because the money goes back to the community. So whether the community is, the money goes back to Jamaica in the community or the community here, it goes back to the community. So if that patty is $3.49 instead of $1.99, you're going to spend the $3.49 because you want to invest in the product and you want to see the business thrive and not just be here for 6 or 8 months, because it's a good time to start a business downtown because it's got a lot of people down there. But what about next year in February when it's, 29 degrees? So we have to support each other. And then just lastly, I just want to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth. We are celebrating our emancipation. And, this was the holiday that was framed after when the slaves or the enslaved people found out that they were no longer enslaved. And so it's now a national holiday. It's been a national holiday for a while, but now it's a federal holiday. So we want people to go out, be in community, support community, go to the festival, go to a lot of the small cities are having something in their local area. So whether you're on, Decatur, Jonesboro, College Park, East Point, McDonough, Morrow, everybody's having some kind of celebration. So just go support each other and enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, and spend your money with each other, with the community.
So you see, the powerhouse talking about her best patty is on Memorial Drive. Listen, we're gonna fight and disagree about this, okay, my lady? They patty used to be really good over there on Memorial Drive. They have went to the birds, okay? So we're gonna fight about this off the air.
I still
But
like tropical patties, so I don't know.
and that's in
Well,
Old
actually,
National, right?
yeah.
Hey, listen, well, you know what? We like what we like, and I'm just saying. Look, at the end of the day, what beef patty is beef patty. Before we go though, I had a friend a few days ago when we was talking about Juneteenth. They live up north, and they were like, "When did this Juneteenth come about?" I said, "Well, actually," and they're from Jamaica too, so they didn't know. I
Mhm.
said, "Well, Juneteenth, this is something a long time ago. It just became a national federal holiday." I said, "But this is something that is true." I said, "The South had the most, what is it, slavery, and they didn't know that they were free. It was actually someone had to come in. I kind of went through what I know,
Mhm.
but it's so amazing because being from up north, I never heard about it as well. I've learned about it being here in Georgia. That's kind
Mhm.
of sad.
Yeah, and it's
So
okay.
by you, go
It's
ahead.
it's it's just a reminder that we don't know our history, and that's what divides us. And I think it's a good point. What you learned in the North versus what you learned in the South, and really, it was celebrated kind of like Texas and Louisiana kind of held that tradition, and finally, it kind of spread. It's been almost 100 years of people
Right.
celebrating it, and now finally it's a holiday, and now people are learning more about the significance. Like people were posting, and I do have to run, but people were posting on Facebook that there's even a flag. A gentleman made a flag that represents Juneteenth, so it's actually a red, white, and blue flag, not red, black, and green, to signify that we are now part of the U.S. and we are now recognized as Americans, and so there's a neat little flag. So hopefully I'll see that flag paraded out somewhere this weekend. But spend 3 minutes and read a little history on it. It'll only take you about 3 minutes because, Google sums it up real quick for you. So do a little research and enjoy the weekend, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The banks are closed on Friday, so if you have to do any personal banking, go on tomorrow because it's closed on Friday. But thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday with us, and also on Thursday with the Lady D and her friends at Reasoning Thursday, and of course the Lady D show at on Saturday 12 to 4. Mckenna says MetLife Stadium kept this the name because they are not a sponsor. Okay, so that again, everyone, we love you. We love you. Thank you so much for supporting us. Happy Juneteenth, and also Father's Day is coming up. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Until next week, we'll see you again. Thank you for tuning in, spending this hour with us. We definitely appreciate you. You guys have a good night. Be safe and see you soon.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night, everyone. We're waiting for the powerhouse to take us out with some music. Mckenna, if you have to run, go ahead. I'll take it off in
If you're in the car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, that's right, baby.
Driving home and yeah,
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in the powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9. You need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype. The one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride you on the go. Or you might be home for long gone. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'm gonna play just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Let's ride.